point densities that are flat over large domains. Okay. So why are we forced to consider only bounded densities? It's because we use a tool that is a little bit rough. So this constancy here, it will increase exponentially with the cutoff end. So what we would actually expect is that the same kind of bound holes where you replace the square root rho with something like this. We're just unable to prove it because our tools are too rough. Okay. So maybe just to sort of convince you that this is a good replacement of the gradient, we have a corollary. If you actually have regularity on the density, if the gradient exists and is at p for some p bigger than d, then you have the same bound with the gradient of rho. Why is that? It's an easy consequence of the Morris inequality. It states that whichever cube you take, the distance between the values in any 2 points is bounded by this. So if you just estimate this guy by the side length of the cube and take everything to the power p, you can immediately replace the smeared out gradient by the actual gradient. Okay. Also, if you then take a smooth rho and rescale it, then you get an asymptotic formula to the leading order of the minimum free energy of rho. Looks like this. So it's not too bad. It works well for flat densities. Okay, and I think I will not have time to actually talk about the proof. So if you're interested, you can read about it in the paper. And here's some references. Okay. And I want to say thank you for your attention. It comes from okay. For our proof, we don't only need that the thermodynamic limit exists. What we actually use is convergence rate on the thermodynamic. And the convergence rates that we're able to pull out are not exactly optimal. And especially in the regime is between d and d plus 1. It goes like a very ugly power of L. So in this case, you get the same thing, but the square root is replaced by something that's a little bit longer to write, so just for simplicity of exposition. Yes, actually, okay, so since you ask, I can show you the slide, right? Okay, so I just remind you that we have the usual equivalence of ensembles in the thermodynamic limit. This has been known for ages. We're going to use this. And then we use, not exactly the duality formula with the inverse potential, but we use a bound that we can insert any potential and get a lower bound in terms of the energy of a Gibbs state in this potential. Okay? Then we choose the potential in a very specific way. So this means that this guy we localize into cubes. This is the geometric localization that you mentioned. So we get some local minimum free energy no restrictions on the densities anymore. The information about the density, we code that into the choice of our potential. And then we get interaction between the cubes. Okay. So if we take the cubes large, and if we take these guys to be constant, then we can estimate them like usual thermodynamic limit. So then what we want to do actually is take some rho k. This can be either a constant or a function that is such that L to the d times this is close to the integral of f of rho. And then we take corresponding chemical potential so that you have equality up here. And this is really what makes it work. So we use the Legendre function duality, but not exactly. We just use it to get a lower power. And then what you have to fight with is the contribution from the interaction energy. And this is where we lose most of our precision. We only know one tool for doing this is some uniform bounds on the correlation functions for usual Gibbs strings. And this is a very messy affair. So what this is, it's a family of bounds that allow you for Gibbs states in a cube. I mean, you take a Gibbs state in a big set, and then you look at the local square number of particles in a cube. You can bound this uniformly with respect to the position of the cube and the size of the cube, something like this. This is what allows us to estimate the interaction energy, or the contribution from the interaction between our cubes. But really, you have very poor control of these guys. So this is why we have to restrict ourselves to really bounded densities.
I think he want to ask one more question. I think he want to ask more question before me. No.
Maybe he wanted to ask another question.
Who wants to ask a question?
He thought that Morris wanted to ask another question.
Okay.
If there are further questions, let's
No. I want to ask question, but if he want to ask before me. So if you go back to the slide just before theorem in one dimension.
The slide just before
The theorem in one dimension.
theorem in one dimension. It's back at the beginning. This is the theorem in one dimension, so this is the slide.
Yeah, so here in the assumption, so you have the upper and lower regular. So you have gap on the left and on the right, the different positions. So what is the...
So really you can think of, start out with three different kappas. You have one kappa here, you have one kappa on this side, and you have a kappa here. Then you just take the largest of them. So it's just an attempt to streamline the notation so you don't have too many different things floating around. So of course all of these parameters could be different. It's not a real restriction.